Hello everyone, this is Ron and I'm back with you with another episode of Empire Coins and Collectibles. It's been a while since I've been out hunting. I've been to a coin show out over at West Fort Worth, but I've shared quite a bit in shorts. So today I thought I would go over one of my hunt lists, and I think you'll find it interesting. But before we go there, if you could, please like, share, and subscribe. Now, the joy of coin hunting. You know, you put together the list and you try to fill the list with the best example that you can find. And my goal is always to get something that is in a mint state. And I would be okay or happy with an MS65, but I would be extremely happy and ecstatic if it was an MS67 or better. But the problem with that is when you're looking for double dies, they get very rare as you go up in the grades, and some of them are unobtainable. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. So I have got a good start on my double die collection, and I focus right now mainly on the Lincoln cents. I do have double dies and halves, quarters, dimes, and nickels, but the Lincoln cents are perhaps what I get the most joy out of. Now I'm going to show you a hunt list. The last two items, number 14 and 15, are not Lincoln cents, so just ignore those because I have a larger hunt list of some of the rare coins that have been put out in the last 20 or 30 years. But I don't know if you can read this. Let me hold it up right like this. So you can see that there are 15 coins on it. And you'll find that there are coins, Lincoln cents from the 1909 VDB double die averse, 1917 double die, 1936, and there's several examples, different dies for the doubling on the 36 DDO, 41 DDO. The 55 also has a few. The 60D DDO. Notice the checks. I'll show those to you in just a moment. The checks are that part which I do have examples on hand. So that's kind of interesting. And then we get into the 69S. And I show the 69S as unobtainable, at least on my allowance that Miss Empire gives me. And in any means, I could not afford some of the finer examples of that particular coin. They're just rare. The 1969S DDO. One price I sold was, they were asking about $450,000, and it was like a MS65, 66. But they did say they would entertain offers. Yeah, I would do that too, right? But you put together your list, and sometimes you realize that you're not going to be able to find it at a coin store or at a coin show at a reasonable price that you can buy. So how do you obtain these specimens? You do your coin roll searches. You buy collections and go through the lots to see if they've missed something. And you would be surprised at what you'll find. But in any case, I will show you one in particular that I've found. Actually, I didn't find it. I bought a collection and it was in the collection. A 1960D doubled die averse. It's an MS60 and it says 75% red. It's an older slab. I don't know if you can see this. Will it be in focus? Is it too bright? I think that light is washing it out. Let me turn that light around. Too much light really is not good for the slab. There we go. So it's a 1960D, and you can see right under it a doubled die. So this is not the interesting part, and you can see it's really nicely red. I'll flash it around, but I'm going to put it under the microscope and let you take a look at it. Now this is an old slab. It's a PCI. And so the grade might be a little suspect on it. But let's go ahead, and I'm going to raise this up first so we can get a better look of the entire coin. Let me put it in focus before I switch the camera. Okay. And I'm going to turn off this light here. And the slab has a little bit of scratches on it. So let me go ahead and change view. Okay. So this one, I believe it's a slab that's got scratches on it. You can see that over the E. But, you know, you can't really tell a whole lot because of the height at which I'm trying to show you the coin. I'm going to go a little lower, bring it back into focus. And now you can begin to see the doubling. Let me go a little lower on it. And some double dies are better and more distinct than others are. Okay, so you can't really tell a whole lot there. A little bit on the L maybe, but we'll go up. And in God we trust, not so much. Roll on around. And we go down and look at that jewel. Let me go a little lower on it. And what you're going to be able to see are the doublings on the 6 and the 9. And you're going to be able to see that doubling on the D a bit. And the O. So look at this right here. Look at the tip of that tail of the 9. You can see that doubling right there, pretty distinct. And absolutely up here on the 6, it almost looks like there's a tripling of that 6 on there or more, but that is very distinct. And then you can see it on the O, and it looks like there's a large date over a small date on the O, even though this was not called out. So this is a pretty unique coin. I got it for a very good value. I mean, these things typically, they're not super expensive, but they'll typically run, well, let's just look it up right now on eBay. So I'll just go ahead and change what I'm hunting for. So we got a 1960 DDO and a small over large date DDO MS66 red will run you just under $500. Here's another one. That was on January 1st. January 2nd, a 65 red DDO sold, small date over large date, sold for $279. So they're not super expensive. They're within reach, and they're a great thing to add to your collection. So I'm going to go and show you a website. So let me share my screen. So what you're now looking at is the Lincoln Cent resource. So I'm going to go to the double die. I recommend you guys get this and bookmark it. So this is a 60 doubled die D over D. And look at that D to the north right there. And if you go back to the stop the share here, and you go back to the camera, I'm going to move this around a little bit. And you can see that D to the north on my example. Right up in there. Isn't that gorgeous? So these are really interesting coins. They provide a lot of joy when you're going on the coin hunt. And it's good to have these resources around. Now let's go back to the main camera, and I'll show you another one. Bear with me. Stop the share. Okay. So that was the 60 double die, small date over large date, D over D. The next one, of course, you guys have probably seen, and I've talked about in the past, is this jewel right here. Now, I don't know if I'll get it to focus. Sometimes that camera's a bit persnickety. It's an MS66 red 72 double die. So, I mean, I'll just move it around. You can see the redness of that coin. It is red, red, red. So I'm going to put this under the coin microscope and you'll take a look at it. It's a gorgeous coin. And it has more pronounced doubling on the date. Isn't that gorgeous? It's almost like a rotational doubling. Look at Liberty, right? If I can get better focus. Look at Liberty. Holy mackerel. There is a tremendous offset and separation of the letters. And then you rotate it around and look at In God We Trust. This is just a magnificent doubled die. So let me go back up here and let you take a look. How about that? So yeah, it's beautiful. So now I'm going to share my screen again. We're going to go back to that website and we're going to go to the double dies. We'll pick out the 72. This is a double die 72, the first die example. And I'm going to blow this up on my screen so you can see it. And we'll scroll down. You can see that separation of the 1972, the separation in the lettering on trust, the separation on the lettering in God. Closer look at the 9 and the 1 and the 7 and the 2. So it's just a beautiful example. Let me go back to the double dies and go to the next one. That was 72. Here's another example of the second die. Now this is more like the one I have, although my doubling on the lettering is more pronounced. Yeah, right there. You can see that up here. So if I stop the share, you can see that this is more pronounced than what I was sharing off of the website. But you get a lot of joy about matching up what you found either out in the wild through coin roll searches, or you're able to find one that is a good value and buy it and add it to your collection. Okay, I'm going to stop the share right now. And I'm going to change the cameras back to where I am. And so that was the 72. I have a large number of double dies in terms of nickels, cents, nickels, dimes, penny halves, etc. But I'm focused mainly on my double die collecting efforts on the Lincoln cent. So I have the next one that you saw marked off on my hunt list, the 1995. Now this is interesting. I try to get a double die in the highest grade that I can possibly find. This is an MS-67. Can I get it to focus? There it is. Double die of verse, FS101. And it's red, red, red. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? But I have another one that I sent in to Annex. And it also is an MS-67 red, 1995. If I can get it to focus. Can you focus? Same as the other one. And it's a DDO FS101. So there's two, and I have another one, and they're all 67s. Now that double die 72 is probably about $500-600, maybe a little more than that. I think it's more like in an MS-67, more like 800 or 900. The 95s, however, MS-67, this is the thing about coin collecting. You have to do it for the enjoyment. But these coins at one time were like a couple of $100. I saw some recent sales right after the first of the year for the 66s less than $100 and the 67s around a couple of $100. But let me just go ahead and change the camera view. We'll go to the microscope. So let me bring it into focus. This one is not on the date so much, But you look at Liberty. Liberty has quite a bit of doubling. You can see that very clearly. You can also see the doubling on the in, God, and we, especially the E, and then on the T, and it begins to fade out. But you can see a little bit of it on the U and the S, and then it's not as dramatic at all on the year. So I do like these double dies. They're just very unique errors that the mint makes from time to time, and they turn into a variety because it's actually on the working die. And you can pick them up for not a lot of money. And just be aware that if you pay big money for a coin, next year it could be worth less. The year after that, it could be worth more. You don't do this for an investment. If you're doing it for an investment, you wouldn't get a 67. You'd try to find the 69 or 70, and they can be very, very expensive, just like the 72 was. Okay. So I think that that's pretty much it on this. I've got a lot of work to do. If we go back to my hunt list, I've got a lot of work to do. That wasn't it. That's some of the other scratching that I made. But I am looking for the rest of these, and it would thrill me to death if I found some of these in a coin roll search. But if I find a dealer at a coin show selling them at a reasonable price that I can afford, I'll pick them up there as well. Again, that is what coin collecting is all about. You build your hunt list, you go after it, you look for them, you search coin rolls, you search coin shops, and it's the thrill of the hunt. And then after that, once you get it, it's the thrill of owning it. All right, my friends, I hope this has been helpful. You take care of yourself, and always remember, if you're not out there looking, you're certainly not going to be finding. All the best.